In this video, we will be presenting the morphological pattern of sudden deaths ongoing in the country. Recently, the social media is bombarded with news of youths and middle-aged people dropping dead without any sickness or underlying health disorders. On February 2021, I was at the General Hospital Complex, Ikotekwene, Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria, to see a hospitalized relative. Suddenly, a mass transit bus hastily drove in and dragged open the bus door. All the passengers hurried out except one man at the front seat of the bus. The hospital staffs rushed out with a stretcher, hoping to save the motionless man at the front seat, eyes staring at the blank. I remember asking one of the passengers what happened to the patient. He exhaled an exasperated sigh and responded. He was making calls as we progressed in the journey and was later discussing about a developmental project executed by an international firm at his local government, but never responded to a question that was directed to him by another passenger at the site. And here we are. He was pronounced clinically dead by doctors at the ICU. Here is a man who woke up that fateful morning, had his breakfast, gets to the mass transit park, board the transit all by himself, was making calls and engaging in productive conversation with other passengers, and died silently in the same bus moments later. The incidence of sudden and unexpected death in Nigeria is currently on a significant increase. Scores of months ago, a member of the Sokoto State House of Assembly, Alhaji Isa Harisu, slumped and died after arriving at the House of Assembly complex to attend the day's plenary. Dominic Dokudo, a footballer, died while warming up for a MPFL match against Nasarawa United. All these incidences of unexpected deaths portray great danger for an escalation of sudden deaths in the near future. Anyone can be a victim of sudden and unexpected death, especially considering that the greater percentage of the population is not identifying the causes, risk factors, and precautionary measures against SUD. Before delving deep to the cause of sudden and unexpected death, acknowledge that these deaths and disability occurring amongst middle-aged audience of the population have disastrous consequences for the families who lost wage earners, and the resultant loss of productivity adversely affects national growth and development. I recall how disastrous it was to the family of late Engineer Davis at 2019. Davis was walking towards the dining table when his wife witnessed him collapse. He was found pulseless and apneic with no sign of trauma. I first met Engineer Davis on September 2018. He was working as an entry-level staff civil engineer for a private corporation at Abuja, anticipating becoming a senior level staff to maximize his monthly wage. Average salary for engineers in Nigeria was 150,000 monthly at the time. Entry-level staff earn as low as 80,000 naira monthly, while senior level staff earn about 600,000 monthly. Davies was working towards becoming a senior level staff the following year and suddenly dropped dead, leaving behind 4 kids in nursery and secondary school, a wife and aged parents to care for. After all those years of academic struggles and distress, normally before becoming a registered engineer in Nigeria, you must have completed 6 years primary level of education, 6 years secondary level of education, 5 years of university studies, and studying engineering for 5 years doesn't grant you automatic qualification to become a registered engineer. You must undergo the mandatory 4 years working experience with the NSE, Nigerian Society of Engineers, and COREN, Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria. After where you apply for a professional exams and on passage accorded the title of a registered engineer. After 21 years of sustained academic work, the V's drop dead. This is the same fate befalling most victims of SUD. After making lots of sacrifices, saving money to fulfill career demands, denying themselves the pleasures of life at the time their parents or they themselves were to be rewarded by life, they drop dead and all those accumulated wealth of experience gone into the dust. Such resultant wastage of professional expertise holds disastrous consequences on family, community, and national productivity and sustenance. Causes of sudden and unexpected deaths amongst Nigerians, Africans, and low and middle income countries. Clinical data obtained from Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital Complex, Ile-Ife, Nigeria, and available medical records by a dedicated team of physician researchers and health maintenance organizations reveals 6 major causes of SUD. 1. Cardiovascular disorders. 2. Psychosocial stress. 3. Mental and behavioral disorders. 4. Respiratory disorders. 5. Endocrine and metabolic disorders. 6. Nutritional disorders. Consequently, the 5 major causes of SUD that may occur without warning include cardiac arrhythmia. Cardiac arrhythmia refers to a group of conditions that causes the heart to beat irregularly, too slowly, a process called bradycardia, or too quickly, a term called tachycardia. Arrhythmia may occur silently without symptoms, or it can present symptoms. If it presents warning symptoms, these symptoms you should watch out for include pounding in your chest, dizziness or feeling lightheaded, panting, chest pain or tightness, blurry vision, sweating, anxiety and palpitations. Arrhythmia can be caused by heart disease, certain drugs, strong emotions, stress, a surprise or habitual food or drinks, alcohol, tobacco, caffeine, or extreme exercise. Another most common cause of sudden and unexpected death is acute myocardial infarction or heart attack. Heart attack occurs when blood flow decreases or stops to a part of the heart, causing damage to the heart muscles. The most common sign of heart attack is discomfort or chest pain, which is felt as a referred pain at the arm, shoulder, jaw, and neck. Other symptoms may include feeling like heartburn, cold sweat, feeling of tiredness, and feeling faint. Myocardial infarction occurs when atherosclerotic plaque slowly builds up in the inner lining of a coronary artery or heart artery and then suddenly ruptures, causing catastrophic thrombus formation, totally occluding or blocking the artery and preventing blood flow downstream. Heart attack is commonly caused by lack of exercise, diabetes, high blood pressure, poor diet, and smoking. Intracranial hemorrhage or massive stroke is another leading cause of sudden and unexpected death. Stroke is when blood flow to a part of your brain is cut off, either by a rupture or a blockade of a blood vessel. Thus, stroke is made up of 2 main types. 1. Ischemic stroke or stroke caused by block of blood flow, and 2. Hemorrhagic stroke or stroke caused by rupture of blood vessels in the brain. Both types denied part of the brain of blood, oxygen, and nutrients, causing brain cells to die. Explaining the reason people drop dead or manifest the following symptoms. 1. Difficulty speaking or understanding others speaking. 2. Numbness or paralysis of the face, leg, arm, most likely on just one side of the body. Sudden headache accompanied with vomiting or dizziness, loss of balance or coordination, difficulties walking, loss of vision in one or both eye. Stroke is always caused by hyperlipidemia or high levels of fat particles or lipids in the blood. Hypertension, diabetes, smoking, endocarditis or inflammation of the heart inner lining, usually involving the heart valves. Stroke can equally be caused by atrial fibrillation or an irregular, often rapid heart rate that commonly cause poor blood flow. The heart upper pumps, the atria, beat out of coordination with the lower chambers, the ventricles. Pulmonary embolism is another major cause of sudden and unexpected death. It is an emergency situation where there is blockade in one of the pulmonary arteries in the lungs, caused either by blood clots that travel to the lungs from deep veins in the leg or other part of the body. Symptoms of pulmonary embolism vary depending on the lung size involved or the size of the clot or the underlying lung disease. Common warning symptoms include cough that may produce bloody or blood-streaked sputum, chest pain that is felt when you breathe in deeply, often stopping you from deep breathing, shortness of breath, fever, leg pain or swelling or both, usually in the calf muscle, caused by deep vein thrombosis. Thrombosis is blood clots forming in the blood vessels. The detailed review of the causes of acute death, its symptoms and risk factors aims to help us protect ourselves from the sudden and unexpected death and immediately seek medical care even without having disease symptoms, considering that some causes of SUD strikes without warning signs. You might be saying that the African medical system has failed to keep many people alive or healthy. However, incidences of sudden deaths recently reveals that we have failed to keep ourselves healthy. So many people are busy executing their professional functions, trading in the market to get food for the family and fulfill their wildest life expectations, but lacking time and money to carry out regular check-up at the hospitals. Some other audience are eating and drinking insensitively, believing that their own safety is solely divine's responsibility. You might have noticed that in all the 5 major causes of sudden deaths that may occur without warning signs, alcohol, stress, tobacco, smoking, and lack of exercise keep recurring in the list. Our daily habits provide some of the strongest defenses against fatal heart disorders. Let's further discover those audiences of our population that are at risk of unexpected deaths. Audience at risk of sudden and unexpected deaths. 1. Parents. 2. Working class. 3. Migraine patients. 4. Residents of high traffic cities, airports and train stations. 5. Lonely people, bachelors, divorcees. 6. People taking concentration enhancing drugs. 7. Alcoholics and smokers. 8. People eating unhealthily. 9. Politicians. 10. Manufacturers, administrators and producers. Now the question is, how is being a parent, a working class, a politician or a manufacturer making you at risk of sudden and unexpected death? Let's address the parent and the working class first. As a parent, you are constantly exposed to stressors, job insecurity, career challenges, the ongoing poverty, unhappy marriage, dysfunctional family, financial constraint, divorce threat, fear of accident, fear of crime or robbery attack, multiple stressors from different jobs or bereavement. If all these multiple stressors occur at a time and chronically, a great threat is posed on your physical, mental and physiological being. Different persons react differently to stressors or hard times. People with high psychical accommodative capacity undergo stress without severe stress reaction. But certain audience of people who feel as if they don't possess enough resources to cope with life challenges will have a stronger reaction that can trigger health disorders. On exposure to these stressors, your body activates a substance that helps you confront the challenges. Specifically, the hypothalamus in the brain set off an alarm system called the fright, fight, and fight response or mechanism. Firstly, the hypothalamus activates the sympathetic nervous system by sending signals through the autonomic nervous system to the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands respond by secreting the hormones adrenaline or epinephrine, cortisol, and norepinephrine. Adrenaline or epinephrine causes increase in heartbeat, increase in blood pressure, increase in breathing rate, dilatation or constriction of blood vessels. Cortisol increases blood glucose and enhances brain utilization of glucose, while replenishing the body energy stores depleted during stress responses. This action of cortisol on increasing blood glucose explains why people who undergo chronic stress always gain unwanted weight. Cortisol increases appetite so that you eat more and generate energy, whilst increasing storage of unused nutrients as fat. Equally, the action of adrenaline in increasing blood pressure and constriction of blood vessels explain why chronically stressed patients become hypertensive. The intermittent activation of the stress response mechanism and the excessive exposure of the body to cortisol upsets almost all your bodily activities, making you at risk of migraine, headache as a result of prolonged muscle tension, heart diseases, anxiety, anger, ulcer, insomnia, erectile dysfunction, loss of libido, high blood pressure, violent reaction to minor challenges, and sometimes sudden and unexpected death. How is being a politician making you at risk of SUD? A politician is not exposed to the distress of paying bills and providing basic essentials for the family because they have attained financial freedom. But most importantly, a politician is exposed to 1. Career pressures, 2. Fear of being relegated to the bottom after dropping out of office, 3. Fear of being broke should you stake your life asset and contest for an election and fail, 4. Fear of death, fear of being killed by enemies or opponents, especially those practicing extreme and African politics, 5. Stress from prolonged meetings, 6. Physical inactivity, 7. High fats, high carbohydrate diet, 8. Trauma following tragic experience during air travels, 9. Lack of time and zeal to manage body weight, 10. Obesity, 11. Exposure to processed foods, saturated fat, and sugar, 12. Unhappy marriages. Donald Trump reportedly slept in different rooms with Melania Trump and avoided holding hands on several occasions in the public. This persistent humiliation, fear, negative nutritional habits, etc. create stressful signals in your body. This in turn activates the hypothalamus to set off the alarm, the fight, fright, and fight responses, flooding the body with cortisol and adrenalines, putting you at increased risk of heart attack or sudden death. Solution to cardiovascular disorders and unexpected death. 1. Discover and maintain happy medium in life. Most victims of sudden and unexpected death are chronically unhappy and unfulfilled people. Unhappy because their wild desires aren't realizing, especially as old age is gradually creeping close and they are still in a financially insufficient state. The societal or generational elusive standard on existence and wealth has driven a lot of people into an enslaving desire for luxury and high living standard attainment in life. The more higher the expectations are, the more harder you work. The more frequent you travel to secure opportunities and money to achieve these expectations, and the more anxious and stuck on a treadmill you become. There is a scenario called the hedonic treadmill. In this mill, you think you will be happier and fulfilled in life if you have a little more money. When you eventually have the little more money, you discover another phenomenon in life that you want, not need. You keep on seeing another phenomenon that when achieved will make you more comfortable and influential in the society, and you start setting up new plans, work more harder, you widen your arcs of investment in order to achieve these your new plans. Perhaps you were desiring for a Toyota Camry 2010 model, and on finally acquiring it, you discover the 2021 Toyota Prius or the 2021 Toyota Corolla Hybrid, and then start setting up new plans and take up new work in order to secure resources to acquire these latest model cars for yourselves. Because you are never contented with your class and achievement in life, you can never have enough. And because you don't have enough, you live an unfulfilled and unhappy life. Remember, prolonged period of unfulfillment and hard work, anxiety, emotional and psychological injury is interpreted by your body as stress, with secondary injury to your kidneys, lungs, heart, and immunity to diseases, and in some cases, you drop dead. 2. Decide never to join the hedonic treadmill. Before you start out in life, prioritize what you spend your life achieving on earth. Decide to achieve only those phenomenons that make you happy and comfortable, and avoid luxury and luxurious. Phenomenons that make you happy and comfortable, such as spacious shelter, balanced diet, decent set of clothing, cushion chairs, bed and pillows to sleep on, a car to move around with, electronics, business outfit to generate money for your sustenance. Avoid luxury and luxuriousness, such as the desire to buy an entire wardrobe of clothing to match your different color of cars used per weekdays. Desire to buy furniture and tech devices to match a specific renowned brand. Desire to relocate from the estate to a mansion at the suburbs. Desire to buy a new set of sofa and to sit on in your bed there. Desire to drink expensive Mayan hot chocolate from Mexico. Desire to buy private boats, jets, etc. At this level, you are on a hedonic treadmill vicious cycle. You always discover something new you want. You can never have enough. Define your values in life and spend only on them. Sustain only worthwhile values. Decide to be a quiet millionaire. Reside in a secured neighborhood and own a normal utility car, even though your income increases. Happiness is determined by the amount of money you spend daily or monthly despite your income increases. Don't be like most athletes, footballers, and lottery winners who all go bankrupt few years after retirement. Recently, we have many politicians returning to the middle class few years after buying out of office. Decide not to spend lavishly despite your salary increase. Keep to the happy medium or moderation in life. If you have done achieving a happier and comfortable life, instead of striving for a luxurious or luxurious existence, invest in the moral and economic development of your communities. With more economically and morally advanced people in our communities, all the armed robbery and the kidnapping, jealousy, hatred will be no more. Lead a seamlessly restorative life. Undergo a sustained restorative sleep. Sleep restores and rejuvenates the body after having been exposed to cellular and tissue damage as a result of stress, exhaustion, and suppression. In exclusion of exercise and healthy diet, sleep is a critical third pillar of a risk-free or disease-free and healthy sustainable life. Lack of good sleep or restorative sleep in a short-term frame causes loss of concentration that causes car crashes on our highways. Many accidents on our road occur as a result of drivers sleeping off on steering. 2. Reduce ability to fight infections. In a long-term frame, sleepiness reduces your infection-fighting abilities. Even minor ailments like stomach ulcer, malaria, typhoid fever can be fatal. You must have heard of incidences where people said he was diagnosed of diarrhea and the next day he died. People will say it's not ordinary. Yes, diarrhea isn't a death sentence on a perfect living state. But if you fall among the despaired audience of the society, whose their worriness, chronic stress, hopelessness, and inconfidence cause so much insomnia or sleepless nights, then diarrhea can be fatal. Lack of sleep in the long term can make you become chronically sick in the midst where people are living healthy. 3. Increased risks of depression, drug addiction, alcoholism, and suicides. Of course, it's not surprising why incidences of suicides is common among working class and low class Africans, especially those in their 20s to 40s. Their period of exposure to psychosocial, nutritional, and behavioral disorders create a stressful situation in their bodies. The stress activates the hypothalamus to cause the release of cortisol. To manage the situation, cortisol causes hyperarousal, high core body temperature, and these people will toss and turn all night without sleep. Over time, they resort to over-the-counter sleep pills. But sadly, the sleeping pills is not a substitute to natural eye shots. Sleep induced by drugs don't create the healing and restorative functions of natural induced sleep. Over time, some of these people resort to alcohol to forget their woes, while some of them, after years of insomnia, depression, hopelessness, tend to commit suicides. Despite your aspirations, beliefs, or social engagement, decide to undergo restorative sleep. Your social function or work must not be traded off with your sleep, especially considering that restorative sleep helps your body to repair its damaged cells, tissues, and boost immune functions, reduce risks of obesity, high blood pressure, and stroke. It equally helps reduce the risk of road accidents, depressions, and suicides, whilst improving your reaction as you interact with people in the public. When you see yourself reacting or responding fiercely, violently, or aggressively towards a car who is moving at a slow pace at your front on the road over minor issues, or you grow aggressively when others talk much, or when kids cries in the environment, then you need a restorative sleep. Restorative sleep improves your problem-solving and learning memory retaining capacity. It improves your attention-paying and judgment abilities and your motivation towards life. When you find yourself fast-forwarding video clips on the social media or wishing an event finishes quick, even when you have no task ahead to perform, instead of watching patiently, knowing that there might be a life-saving discovery as it unfolds along, then you need a restorative sleep. How much sleep is restorative? A sleep pattern lesser than 6 hours a day isn't restorative. To be restored, you must sleep for 7 to 9 hours on a consistent schedule. With 7 to 9 hours, you must have attained the 2 stages of sleep the rapid eye movement stage, and the deep sleep or REM and non-REM. At this deep sleep level, all the signal discharging neurons that regulate alertness and wakefulness is shut down. The breathing rate, heart rate, muscular tone, brain activity all decreases. Then the body releases growth hormones. Growth hormones help in healing, carrying out the maintenance, repairs, growth of new healthy cells in the tissues and organs throughout the body. Then you wake up again renewed, restored, and strengthened. Finally, most victims of sudden and unexpected death are those who don't observe a healthy eating habit. They trade off their life by eating menial foods while saving money to meet up contribution targets to build house and drive cars. Eat balanced diet. Spend your money on your health. In a healthy and perfectly moving body resides true happiness and comfort and the fulfillment of all wildest life expectations. Take holiday vacations for 1 to 2 weeks occasionally and allow everything to be done for you. You need money to pay bills and care for your kids, but your kids need you to stay alive and later watch over their own kids and unfold their greatness with them. Practice relaxation techniques such as deep breathing exercises, meditation exercises, yoga. Take reading and listening to music as a hobby. Cultivate cheerfulness. Exercise consistently. A healthy citizen is the greatest asset any country can have. The next video presentation will focus on the contemporary art of a healthy eating. Subscribe to get notified immediately it drops.